All righty, good evening. This is the August 18th, 2022 meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission. The time is 6 p.m. Our first order of business is to convene into work session where staff will review the cases. We'll reconvene into general session at 6:30.
The height of the.
Yeah, that gives them away.
Yes.
That's good. Oh, that's a great story.
Did they ever fess up to it?
No.
It's gonna be howdy.
So you need
Did you call a store?
to paint over the.
That's right.
Yeah.
They were so rowdy out there, I had to make sure they were calm first before I came in here.
We're in for a big night.
Yeah, the crowd is clamoring.
Yeah.
You're not this month, but maybe next month. I don't know. We'll see.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but isn't
Are we
next month
rezoning
like
a
the
turkey
third
farm?
Thursday, isn't that Thanksgiving?
Turkey farm.
Or does it not fall on
Did
the?
you say
It's
that there
the
was a
fourth.
unique,
Okay.
remember we had the
About the rabbit stuff?
yeah.
No, the
You're right, I'm
chickens.
just.
Durban
I didn't look
chickens
at
and
it.
So, yeah, it's the
Yeah.
fourth Thursday.
Yeah, I think we
Figure
ought
that
to,
So we'll be on the
I'm in
17th.
favor of letting
Got it.
chickens,
I'll be there.
let people have chickens.
So we are having it. Yeah.
Okay.
A very contentious one, apparently.
Yes. How'd you know?
Right
How
before
do
the
you-
holiday.
You know all these things
You
already.
say it.
Sue
got
knows
the
all
agenda?
things. No, Sue's got her ear to the ground.
Yes,
Yeah.
you listen to everybody's conversation. You just don't listen to your own.
So what's the contentious one?
Before I hit record.
Yeah.
It's one in Old Town, so,
Oh, the one in the white building?
yeah. We'll
Wait.
see.
Wow.
What is that? What do you mean?
You know, that building has been there forever, that's white, right up the corner of Old
Oh,
Town.
the art center?
Joe Shirley's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so it's like,
Thanks, man.
it's
You're
not on the
killing me.
agenda, we can't talk about it.
There you go.
Ready? Here we go.
Uh,
All right, item 2 and 3 on the work session this evening is to review the cases. To start the meeting off, we'll call the roll. I'm Edmund Haas, Chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Glenn Portman.
Present.
Okay, Commission members Sue Blankenship,
Present.
Cindy Bishop,
Here.
Freddie Guerra,
Here.
Ed Marr.
Present.
There he is.
Right, there you are.
Virtual.
And Jim Walker.
Here.
All right, I'll turn the meeting over to Mary Cron Boswell, who will introduce staff and review the cases. Mary?
All right, so we have Cole Baker, our graduate engineer with us. And then
When
Kenny-
does Cole Baker become EIT engineer for you?
Oh, I'm currently in EIT.
They just call you graduate?
Yeah.
There you go.
Then we got Ken McGee, our planning secretary. Okay, so, let's see. I have nothing for citizens appearance. So item 6 on your agenda is C3 development. So essentially, do y'all know where current parking fly is? On
Mhm.
800 Royal. So they've come in to remove the parking fly, and then they're looking at putting in 2 office warehouse buildings. So there'll be one facing Royal Truck Court, sharing a truck court, and then the other one facing the easterly property line. So with that one, they will also have to replat, which is the other item on the agenda tonight. So the building's about 160,000, 120,000, about 160,000 square feet. They're gonna share a truck court. They're gonna add another entrance on Gateway, and they'll add an entrance on Royal as well. So they'll have 3 entrances. The main entrance for the trucks will be on Gateway, because it'll go straight into the truck court. So a lot of what's there currently in terms of buildings is going to go away. A lot of what's there in terms of trees and landscaping will remain, because it's mostly along the perimeter. There are some trees that are going to be taken out, and that's kind of on the driveway going into the site. But they're going to plant about 113, I think it's 113, 130 trees to make up for that and bring the site back up. So they're gonna essentially not over landscape, but have more landscaping that meets the ordinance requirements. It's pretty cut and dry. They're gonna redo the fire lane for the new configuration of the office warehouse building. That's pretty much it.
Fire department already approved the fire lanes? Okay.
Yeah, so staff has looked at it, fire, engineering, building inspection. So once they come in and do this, they'll go through, further engineering review with their actual construction plans. But they looked at it preliminarily,
Question regarding traffic.
yes.
So there's a median opening that they're proposing at Gateway, which is
There's,
pretty close to the interchange. Did we ask for a TIA? There's a new one, a new opening?
mhm,
Did we ask for a TIA for any
No.
impacts on that?
no.
Cole, any potential implications with traffic at that median opening on the south side or the north side of 635?
So there's no new median opening for Gateway.
Oh, there's not?
No, there's not. Gateway will continue to be right in, right out.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's, most of their traffic going south to 635, they're proposing median opening on Royal for their north driveway.
Okay.
Yeah, they have one at the far north edge of their property where they're going to be putting, that'll be a left out only because of the proximity
A
to the railroad.
left out only,
A hooded left out.
Okay.
Mhm.
a left out only. If these, okay.
What, say it again, on Royal?
Yes, turning from
Is
the
that-
property to southbound Royal.
Right by the railroad tracks.
So I guess bottom line, we didn't ask for a TIA on this?
No, this didn't meet the traffic generation threshold requirement.
So what would the trip gen be? We got 80,000 square feet of industrial. Is it distribution also with trucks?
Yeah, it's just warehouse distribution. I forget the exact numbers they gave us. I can find those out for you.
I guess then my only comment would be just to make sure that you all are comfortable, that engineering is comfortable with truck movements if they're going to restrict it out of that one drive
Mhm.
there at the median there, just on the north side of Gateway, or 635, on the Gateway side, just to make sure there's no implications there, because it seems that there's a lot of traffic that's really picking up there, and so make sure that we're okay there.
Mhm.
And then on the frontage road, is there a new entry drive there?
Off of the Gateway Boulevard, is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
Yes,
yes,
they are
yes, yes.
proposing one off of Gateway.
Okay. Okay. Well, that would be my only comment. Just make sure that engineering is comfortable with traffic and
So,
driveway locations and hooded lefts, whatever, all that stuff.
Right,
No, left.
correct.
so just to clarify, because I've got the plan up here. So if you're exiting building 1
Uh-huh,
onto Royal,
correct.
can you turn left or right?
Is this from the driveway at the northeast or northwest
Kind of in
corner?
the
So,
middle,
yes.
in the middle of building 1.
Yes,
Oh,
you can turn
the
right
main
and
entry in the
left.
center of the building?
Yes.
Yes.
They won't be allowing truck traffic out of that exit.
Okay, that's what I
Okay.
was asking. Sorry, I got it.
Yeah, sorry.
That's helpful.
Yeah, the
Thank
one
you.
that's in the center of the
Yeah.
property,
Okay,
yeah.
Where the existing median opening is.
Yes.
Correct.
yes,
Yeah, that will be a auto only.
Got it.
thank you.
And the one on the north end closest to the dart rail is a hooded left.
Yes.
But you can turn right.
Yeah, they can turn right from that.
Right
but
or
they-
left.
They can't
So that's
turn,
hooded.
if you're heading southbound on Royal, you can't turn left into the property. Because there's the railroad right there.
So you're only coming in the main entrance?
If you're a
Right.
truck.
Oh, yeah.
You're only coming in the main entrance?
If you're a
I'm
truck.
not sure what their plan for that is. From talking with them, it sounds like they're not planning on allowing any trucks going in their main entrance. So I think they'd have to,
Just
Fine,
office
no,
workers' cars?
Yeah.
I think they'd have to find an alternate route around. It is fairly restricted because of how close Gateway is to the frontage road exit.
Well, I've
Just
seen
make
truck
sure you're on
drivers
top of
trying
it.
to turn.
That would be my concern.
every place.
Oh, me too. Right across my median.
I do have one question. Oh, sorry. As these distribution centers become more automated, how is the city in the future going to take into account the parking spaces? And the reason I asked this, I was in California and this issue came up with another development, but again, just they're not going to have the typical number of workers like in the past. So, like when we start looking at these, now obviously it's a lot of parking, and most of these, I've never seen the entire parking
Never
lot
seen it either.
filled, but
Halfway filled, yeah.
yeah. So, what's
So you're suggesting that they're over parking, and we want to give them a variance? I would think, what, case-by-case basis, that they
Yeah.
present information if there's
Exactly.
Okay.
You know, we are having roundtable discussions with industrial as well as retail people to say, you know, what are the future trends? What do you guys see happening? So that we can integrate that into, you know, any changes that we have. But at this point, yeah, Eddie's right in terms of if they were wanting some kind of variance, they could definitely come and ask for it.
That make-
With the site the way it is, they were able to park it, so that wasn't an issue for them.
okay?
And right now, you know, for them, it's really a spec building, so they don't know who's
Exactly.
going
Okay.
in there.
No interaction between the adjacent development or any kind of shared drive, just if there is any? Okay. It's Haverty's, but I didn't know what the use that's going in.
Yeah, we don't know.
Okay.
It's more of a spec building. What I can say though is that, you know, industrial is definitely, I don't think they'll have trouble filling it.
I was asking those same kind of questions. I was in a golf tournament for the C5, the youth thing that Mike Land is on the board for.
Okay.
And this company bought Duke. I can't remember their name.
Prologis?
Yeah, it is Prologis. That's it. They bought Duke, and they were talking about the change in their cycle of distribution stuff, but they are going full throttle. They say that they won't have any problem filling their places up.
Good. I'm a stockholder. I'm glad to hear that.
That inside
That's the only reason I knew the name. So anyways.
That's right. That's what-
And the 130 trees, I mean, what kind of trees? I mean, they're all the periphery, right?
Well, not all in the periphery, because there's also trees in the parking islands. So like every 15 parking spaces,
Okay.
they have to have a tree. And they have to have like interior landscaping as well. So it's a combination of overstory trees that's on our tree pile list, like live oaks and those kind of
Okay.
trees. So, yeah, I think they're only taking out, they're taking out 7 live oak trees and some crepe myrtles, but they're coming back and planting like 113 trees, so,
Yeah, so there's no remediation issue at all.
yeah. And if you see the landscape buffers along like Royal and some along the Gateway, it's larger than what's typical. And this lot is kind of oddly shaped because it's got that little point. So, you know, there is some additional landscaping that they put in down at the southeast corner there.
So, hey, Mary, instead, I have a question about the median cuts as well and the proximity, how close they are together, as well as, it looks like the main entrance for park and flies remaining right at the main median cut, but going north of there, there's an additional median cut where the new curb cut is laid in.
Right.
And so I guess my concern is if there are cars, if that's a hooded left turn and there are cars coming out, pulling out, there could be cars slowing down, going south, decelling to go into the main access point. So you have, kind of a pinch point right there, depending on how many cars are there. Why, I guess why are we okay 'cause with that additional median cut there? Because I don't think it's there right now.
Right, so there's only one driveway on that property currently. So the one on the north is a new proposed,
But that's right in, right out, right?
left, right?
That's this one.
Yeah,
That would be right in, right out, because you have the median there.
the middle one, but he's talking about the
But
one.
this one, the
Yeah,
main one.
the main one, right.
Well, how is the middle one right in, right out?
No, I was
It's not.
thinking the north one would be right in, right out. Isn't there a drive that
There's
goes to the north end?
a median cut there.
Here.
That's where they're putting the
Go
hooded
left.
left exit.
That's where the hood left is going.
Oh, okay, to be able to access this,
Yes, to be able to southbound access.
and that's been approved clear through DART?
We're having to coordinate that with DART.
Okay.
Yeah, how would that let southbound access? Because that look on the site plan, it looks like it's a hooded, it looks like it's a hooded left out, not a left in, unless it's drawn wrong on the site plan.
No, it is a hooded left out.
Out of the subject property, it's not a left in from Royal.
Correct.
Okay, I thought that's what someone just mentioned. Yeah, those two, I mean, that being that close together, especially in the, in the relative short term, especially when that's seeing increased traffic with the belt line closure. But even more broadly speaking, those cuts are just really close together.
Cool, the driveway spacings.
The other one
Yeah.
would be this one, this movement to prevent this U-turn movement so close to the interchange.
Mhm.
Right, because this driveway is new.
Right,
On
yeah.
Gateway, and so you have these trucks coming out here, this is two-way, so I presume they could go this way, but they're gonna wanna get to
Right.
635 quick. Some may see this median opening, come out Gateway, try to make that maneuver, make a U-turn, but that won't work, so that'll be a fail. So,
I believe, so there's a median opening up there.
right, so that means trucks are gonna come out here?
No, so that's what the purpose of that is, up at the northwest corner.
I thought this was left in on
No, left
No,
out.
There's
Okay.
no access, it's southbound.
Okay,
It's
it's
left-
on first.
Right, it's left out.
Thank you, Sue.
Sure.
That's what I needed.
Hey, good question, sir, good questions.
All right,
Out only.
yes.
Yes.
It's an outie, not an innie.
A hooded exit, so that means that the concrete or the median's poured in such a way that you can only go that
Right.
one direction?
Yes,
It's
to prevent cars from
great.
turning left in.
Mhm.
They
'Cause it's one
want,
of
they
those
want the
like,
cars to come down to the next entrance
right, okay,
where there's a hooded.
yeah, okay, that's interesting.
Turn
There's
lane.
one of those going into Anamias where you go between the Taco Bell and Anamias. Anyways, we probably don't need to get into that.
You're giving away your shortcut.
But that would be a hooded left, because you couldn't turn
Right,
into the Tom Thumb from there
right.
Correct.
if you're going south on Denton Town.
I got
That's
down the
correct.
Taco Bell and then turned.
Again, giving away your shortcuts.
So I didn't need to come back.
So, I guess it's.
So the
due
truck
diligence
traffic
on-
wouldn't go through the main entrance?
Correct.
How are they gonna prevent that or police that? Why would the trucks take the hooded left out when they can take the full access cut?
Because of the turning movements around the building.
That and then on the driveways, with all those medians, they couldn't make all those turns.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they won't try. You get
Well,
one
I'm
of
sure,
those big
I'm sure
tractor
they'll put
trailers
some
stuck.
signage up too.
Yeah.
They're landscaping.
Yeah.
Fortunately, crepe myrtles are very tough.
Seems that
Well, I
the
mean,
old bed
it
bugs.
just affects their site plan.
I'm sorry?
So it just affects their site plan, because it looks like they put the wider drive aisle to the north, and they needed the hooded left, so they can the trucks can come out and go on, access 635, or else they would have needed to put in a wider drive aisle in front of the property, so they can access the full access cut.
Yeah, so, they're aware of that. I'm sure they'll put up signage, and I'm sure once they've maybe tried it once or twice, they'll figure it out.
Is this a business where the same employees would be driving the same trucks there all the time, or would they be having,
This is a spec building currently, so
oh, so that we don't.
I don't know who the.
Yeah, the truck.
We'll go with yes.
Yes.
I'll just let Sue run the baby.
But Jim, that's a good question.
Are you defeated already? Sorry, Ed, sorry, what'd you say?
That's okay, I was just gonna say, Jim, that was a good question, because there's dock doors all the way up and down the back of that building, so there could be 500 trucks coming in and out of there, so. This could
179,
that could be fairly high traffic.
probably half of that, probably be about 80 during the peak hour. Right, 0.64 per thousand?
I believe it was around 80 a little bit.
That's good.
Yeah, it,
When you've got experts on the commission, it's,
I like
it's
it.
an impressive thing.
Boy, that's gonna really stuff up Denton Tap to LBJ though.
Yeah.
well, that's why I was asking Cole about, like, the southern exit, the gateway entrance, that drive. So there's about 180 vehicles, there could be a lot of trucks, that if they're going out on Gateway to go over to Royal, that they don't try to turn right and make that U-turn, because then that'll really bump things up then.
Yeah, I think that's why they're adding that hooded left exit at the northwest corner.
Right,
to try to
encourage
make
that.
That's gonna be much easier than,
Mhm.
and a shorter route than trying to go down and around and go even through.
Okay. Anything else on this one?
Didn't know it's gonna be controversial, did you?
I know.
Yeah.
Over under was 30 minutes.
Are they getting a highway monument? Or highway pylon?
For signage?
That's a
No.
good question.
So they have two monument signs proposed, one on the gateway entrance and one on one of the royal entrances. But it's a standard monument sign, not, the pylon signs that you were talking about were for like highway commercial zoning, not for light industrial. So they showed two monument sign locations, but no signs, so when they come in, they'll have to abide with the sign regulations. This is a straight site plan, so everything complies. It's not a PD, there's no variances being requested. So it's a straight site plan, it's a straight replat. So they're not asking for anything,
Easy cheesy.
yeah. So the next,
So- Oh, and Mary, last question on the,
Yeah.
on the cut, on the new cut that's added, in terms of the radius for the truck turns coming out of there, on the hooded left as they're going, south on Royal, is there, is I don't know the width of the road at that point, but is there enough width in that they can actually make, a tractor trailer can make that turn without driving on the curb?
look to,
I'm not, we can ask them to provide a turning template just to show what that turn
Okay.
would look like for semi truck.
It is, I mean, I'm generally concerned about that access cut as close as it is to the median, but on top of that,
they should look that.
if the, if it takes the truck a really long time to turn out of there because they have to either go over the curb or make a super tight turn, then it'll just block up traffic getting on to, for the rest of the traffic going down South Royal. So, I mean, it's definitely a good check from a radius standpoint, just to make sure they can, even if it's that's there, that they can cross easily. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
Okay.
We'll look into that and coordinate with them during the detailed engineering review.
So once the site plan goes through this process, they still have to go through the full engineering construction package review. So they'll look at those kind of items in more detail. Because they still have to get they're still coordinating with DART on that hooded left. So they'll sort all of that with the construction package.
Who don't actually care how the trucks turn?
Well, they will care in terms of making sure that they're
Mhm.
not interfering with the arms that are going down on the road. On the
Yeah.
road. I'm not concerned because they'll handle it on their end.
But we're just approving a straight site plan, there's no
Right.
bells or whistles on it at this point.
Right.
And any traffic implications, they'll get it at engineering review?
Yeah.
Okay. So no need to quiz the client on some of these things, or the applicant?
You can ask, but they'll probably, you know, I'm guessing they'll say they're working through those items.
Okay.
Feel free to quiz Coppell.
Because he knew .64 per thousand for light industrial. Good job.
I said that sounded right.
No, that's what it is. Down from .92. Okay.
Okay, so the first item is the site plan, and then the plat is the next item, which basically says it's a replat of the light industrial lot, which was done in '95 when Park and Fly came through. So they're removing the existing fire lane configuration and realigning it for the new site plan and the new office warehouse buildings. So it'll come, circle all around the site as well as through the middle of the truck court. Not much to that one.
Well, it didn't seem like there was much to the first one, but then we discovered
So on that one, southbound or
it's a rough crowd.
You have to pick a fight somewhere.
That's okay.
I'll teach you.
Save it for next week.
Yeah.
That's the only two things we've got, right?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
And there will be a meeting
This
next
script
month.
looks like we got full load.
Yeah, no, sorry. That's the last one.
Okay.
But there will be a meeting next month, 99% sure. And that'll be, bless you, I think on the 17th.
Do you have a feel for how many items there will be? Estimate?
Sure.
Probably 4, 3 to 4. Three or more.
That means dinner.
That means dinner, that's
Should we put a request in?
right. Give a request.
Turkey.
You want to get all your turkey fixed out before?
You get it.
Well, I'm
You
good
gotta
for that
turkey
any
out.
time of the year.
That's right.
Do you guys want like sandwiches, pizza, or
I
polly?
like turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes.
Pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie, okay. I'll see what I can do.
Good luck. Yeah, because Palio's, we can get a salad, as I recall, isn't that right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just so picky about pizza, but it's okay. I labor through.
You don't have to eat it. You can order something else off the menu.
Do you want to review the cases now, council action, or you want to wait till out there?
We can do it, it's really quick,
It's 6:29.
6:29. We took the Larson and the Victory Coppell to council and the ordinances passed.
That was it?
So,
Okay, great.
it was pretty quick. Yeah.
Okey dokey. Let's see. Sorry, script here, let's see. We're now going to complete the work session at 6:29, and we'll convene in general session. Need a quick break, or we?
Go for it.
I'm good.
All right.
And I also won the under, by the way.
All righty, it is now 6:31, and we're reconvening in general session. Just for the note there to the audience, we have Commission Member Ed Marr, who's joining in virtually tonight. So thanks, Ed, for that. Item 5 on the agenda is citizens' appearance. No Cami. Cami, do you know if anybody had signed up on citizens' appearance? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to item 6, which is the approval of our last Planning and Zoning Commission meeting in July. Are there any comments by the commission, or is there a motion?
It's actually, item 5 is approval of the minutes from the August 18th meeting.
Sorry, August.
Sorry, Eddie.
Move to approve the minutes of August 18, 2022.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Portman. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, second, Commissioner Guerra. Cami, will you call the roll, please?
Please respond by saying aye or nay as I call your name. Chairman Haas,
Aye.
Vice Chair Portman,
Aye.
Commissioner Bishop, Commissioner Blankenship,
Aye.
Commissioner Guerra,
Aye.
Commissioner Maurer,
Abstain.
and Commissioner Walker.
Aye.
All approved, none opposed, motion carries.
All righty. Item 6 on the agenda is the Seafree Development Site Plan. This is to consider approval of the Seafree Development Site Plan, Lot 1R, Block A, a site plan for 2 office/warehouse buildings and associated easements and fire lane configuration on 16.071 acres of property located at the northeast corner of South Royal Lane and Gateway Boulevard, being developed by Seafried Industrial Properties and being represented by BGE Inc. on behalf of PNF Dallas Limited. We have a staff presentation by Ms. Mary Perone-Boswell. Mary?
Good evening, Chairman, Commissioners. This property is located at the northeast corner of South Royal Lane and Gateway Boulevard. The site is zoned light industrial, surrounded by other LI properties. It's bounded by Royal Lane to the west, Gateway Boulevard to the south, Dart Rail Line to the north, and another office warehouse site to the east. So the current use for this is a park and fly. Property zone light industrial has been used as park and fly location since 1995. It has several buildings on it in addition to the car canopy areas that are located to the east. These will all be removed to allow for the new construction. 2 office warehouse buildings are proposed to be constructed on this site, side by side with truck courts facing one another. Building 1, which is closest to the Royal Lane, is proposed to be 120,120 square feet, and Building 2, which is located on the eastern side of the site, is proposed to be about 161,720 square feet. The site will have 360 parking spaces for cars in addition to the truck dock space. A fire lane loops the site, bisects the truck court area, which is outlined in red. There's a new entrance proposed on Gateway Boulevard, which will bring trucks straight into the truck court area, and the 2 other entrances are located off Royal Lane, one existing and one new. So the existing site has some trees planted around the perimeter of the site. Interior to the site exists some landscape islands which contain grass. The vast majority of trees on site will be preserved. There are approximately 7 live oaks that will be removed, along with some crepe myrtles, the majority of which are located on the existing entrance to the facility. The trees proposed to be removed will be mitigated, and 113 new trees planted. As designed, the landscape plan is compliant with the regulations of the landscape ordinance and exceeds the amount of total landscape area required. The landscape buffer along Royal Lane, along the Dart perimeter to the north, and segments of Gateway Boulevard are greater than the minimum requirements. The perimeter trees will serve to buffer the Dart line from the site as well. So there are 2 existing billboards located at the southeast and southwest corners of the site, which will be removed with this development. The buildings are approximately 40 to 42 feet in height with the parapet. As described, Building 1 will be 120,000 square feet roughly. Buildings will be made of tilt wall. We'll have a storefront facade with awning separating the top and bottom windows. The corner of the buildings will be dressed up and provide glass and decorative reveals. The truck court side of the buildings will also have decorative reveals, breaking up the length as well as additional articulation, meeting the ordinance requirements. Building 2 is located on the eastern portion of the site. So 349 parking spaces are required for the overall site. There are 360 parking spaces provided. All lighting will need to be shielded and downward facing and will be reviewed at the time of building permit. There are 2 proposed monument signs on the site, but they will need to meet ordinance requirements as we have no sign plans with this proposal. Again, Building 2 is about 161,720 square feet. Be made of tilt wall, storefront, facade with awning separations. Corners have been dressed up with provide glass decorative reveals. So staff is recommending approval of this request subject to the following conditions. There may be additional comments at the time of detailed engineering review and building permit. Number 2, signage shall comply with sign ordinance and be generally consistent with in terms of style, placement, and size. 3, submission of the location, type of lighting facility, security lighting, screening, and glare shades will be required at the time of building permit to ensure compliance with glare and lighting ordinance. And 4, a tree removal permit shall be required. This is a straight site plan. There is no public hearing requirement. That is the end of my presentation. The applicant is here in the audience as well if you have any questions.
Okay, very good. Any questions of staff by the commission? Ed, did you have any questions?
No, since we covered it in pre-session.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, is the applicant here to present the case? So if we could get your name and address for the record.
We'll tag team this. My name's Jonathan Stites with Seafried Industrial Properties. My address is 7001 Orchard Hill Court, Colleyville.
Okay.
Nick Hobbs with BGE, 4309 Astor Road, Prosper, Texas.
Okay, very good. In pre-session when we reviewed, well, let me start first with, are you all in agreement with staff conditions as presented?
Yes.
Okay. In pre-session, we had, I guess, more than a few questions regarding the traffic operations. Since there was, I guess, not a TIA conducted with this, we were just some confusion and some just general concern about truck operations, potential impact to the the Royal 635 interchange there. So I guess general question number 1, traffic operations, and what is going to look like in terms of trucking and/or just trip generation to the site? Is it mostly employees that come to and from the site, or will there be a significant amount of trucking activity?
I'm going to speak generically about it, and then I know Nick can speak to the traffic impact and kind of the analysis
Sure.
that was done around kind of the existing use versus our use. As you guys well know, the type of projects that are in this area tend to have, there's certainly trucks involved, and this will be as you can see with dock doors and so forth, but the kind of uses that we see in this particular submarket definitely lean heavily towards higher finishes, more office space, sometimes some tech or assembly type stuff, which the reason why the auto parking is what it is, not only because of ordinance, but because of a very good likelihood to need. We anticipate there will be some tenants in here. Of course, we're building it speculatively, but
Right.
we would anticipate there would be some tenants here that will have a number of employees. So there's no particular rhyme or reason because you don't know what the car versus truck traffic is. I would say that these type buildings are nothing like your million square foot or the Amazon building that's right next door, or all that. We developed those things as well, as far as just truck traffic and trip generation and all that. You don't know because you don't know the tenants, but they're very often these kind of buildings will have box trucks, not 18-wheelers. But it's being designed so that we could have 18-wheelers, our suspicion, and based on the charts that you look at, is the expectation is that it will be more cars than trucks, and the expectation is that the collective, and I want Nick to speak to this, the collective of what this project will have will certainly be less than what the Park and Fly is doing now. So if you want to speak to technicality.
Yeah, we just looked at this from the ITE trip generation manual, not knowing the exact tenant, but just based on that manual, we can estimate to a pretty good degree of what kind of traffic we'll see here. And based on that, we are under the threshold required of a TIA. So, and we will definitely be, as far as less total traffic than the existing use, which is the Park and Fly.
Okay, so with less traffic than the existing use, why do you feel there's a need for another drive and a median break there by the railroad on the north side of the site?
I'm going to again speak to kind of the business case and let Nick speak to the technicalities of it. But we studied this a lot because we do a lot of layouts like this, and the honest truth is we think it's a requirement for this to work effectively, to be really the way it wants to work, distribution, or what's the word I'm looking for, circulation-wise. So there's no question a lot of the traffic will come in and off of Gateway Boulevard, and there may be some stuff that gets off at 635, comes up and takes a right into the site off of Royal at this northwest corner. But we just felt like we absolutely need to have an outlet up there, a secondary place for trucks that we don't want them to get caught up in there. We don't want them to get into the auto traffic area in front of the building. But as we started thinking about this with staff and internally with ourselves, we recognized, hey, the idea of this somehow being a full intersection with DART right there, and with the ability to do a left turn lane off of, it just wasn't going to work with DART there. So because we have the outlet on the south side, we felt comfortable that if we can have this hooded left and have at least the ability for a truck to go across and then get down to 635 and out of everybody's hair as quick as possible, it makes a lot of sense. Now, we recognize the fact that this needs to be, we need to show staff at the time of permitting that auto turn works, that you can do the computer model generation that says, hey, if it doesn't, do we need to pull the island back, instead of, I'm just making up numbers, but instead of 25 feet, it needs to be 28 feet or whatever. We know we will fine tune that because we, like everybody else, want the truck to make a very clean, fluid, quick motion through there. We also were just talking about this earlier, that, if there was some way of, putting signage on our site as you're leaving says, no stopping in the median, cross all the way through, whatever that technical language is, we recognize the idea that needs to work efficiently. So, but I would tell you it's a must, it is, we believe it's a must-have just for the circulation of the site and to be able to give that backdoor access to the north sides of these buildings. You have anything to add to that?
I think that, it's for circulation we need it, and just it helps in general because it helps direct some of that truck traffic, keeps it from turning north, trying to find an alternate route where it's going through places you don't want it to go, just trying to give it a route so we can head south toward the highway as quick as possible.
So how might the trucking operations on the south side of the site, the Gateway side, obviously you have a new drive there, and I presume some level of trucking, hopefully the single unit trucks, but I guess my concern is trucks that take that exit, go over to Royal, and then try to make the U-turn at that median opening just north of 635. What will y'all do to kind of, from a site orientation, signage perspective, do to try to prevent that kind of movement? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm trying to picture what you're talking about at Royal. Obviously, there's a number of industrial projects right here that use Gateway to get
Right.
back to Royal. Not Royal, I mean, Freeport is what we think will happen.
So there's a median right there,
That's right.
Gateway and Royal. So it forces a right.
That's right.
But I guess my concern is any truck traffic that is desiring to get to 635 pretty quickly, and they're not paying attention to your signage program, on your site signage program, that they go to Royal, try to make that U-turn right there with that first median opening.
Oh, yeah. Well, my personal opinion is, and this happens in a lot of industrial projects, you have to guide exactly how you want the truck traffic to go. So I think what you're saying is if I come out and I'm a truck on Gateway and I turn right, well, there's a median blocking my way to turn left onto 635. So I absolutely think we would want signage on our exit point right there that says to 635, pointing left, go left out of this parking lot to Freeport, and then utilize the full intersections there. So
Or direct them to your north.
That's right, or to the north. You guys understand what happens here so often is the tenants train their drivers. The drivers kind of learn as they come to a place over time what's the best way in and out. We love the quickness to 635 because it's what we all want in y'all city and every city is let's get trucks to highways so they get out of our city as quick as possible. So we think there's almost no chance that trucks want to go north on Royal. There's no reason to. They want to get on highways as quickly as possible. So your point is very well taken of how do we ensure that something coming south on 635, either they go out and go straight to 635 the way this left turn on the northwest corner, or if they come down on Gateway, we turn them left to go to Freeport. There's no doubt about that.
Okay. Any questions by the commission of the applicant? Okay. Thank you very much. I guess before we make a decision on this, I think, Mary, I'd like to add a requirement to the approval, and that will be for concurrence of city staff, specifically the engineering department, for site traffic and just general operations, that they're satisfied with how the site will operate. So with that, if there's no discussion, I'll go ahead and I'll make a motion for approval of item 6 with conditions as presented, with the additional item of concurrence of city staff, of city engineering, for site traffic and general site operations and on-site signage. So we have a motion by Commissioner Haas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Portman. Cam, would you call the roll, please?
Please respond by saying aye or nay as I call your name. Commissioner Blankenship.
Aye.
Commissioner Guerra.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Portman.
Aye.
Chairman Haas.
Aye.
Commissioner Maurer.
Aye.
Commissioner Walker.
Aye.
And Commissioner Bishop.
Aye.
All approved, none opposed, motion carries.
Very good. Thank you very much. Item 7 is a public hearing. This is to consider approval of the Seafried Edition Lot 1 Block A replat, a replat to modify a lot for the creation of 2 office/warehouse buildings and associated easements and fire lane reconfiguration on 16.071 acres of property located on the northeast corner of South Royal Lane and Gateway Boulevard at the request of P&F Dallas, being represented by BGE Inc. Mary, with the staff presentation.
So this is, again, at the northeast corner of South Royal Lane and Gateway Boulevard. It's a companion item to item 6, which we just heard. The replat will add and modify required utility easements to reconfigure the fire lane and access easements for the construction of 2 office warehouse buildings. So this property was originally platted in 1995. It's been zoned light industrial and used as park and fly ever since. It's a simple replat request. As mentioned, this is a companion item to the Seafried development. So this plat will create 1 lot dedicate associated easements and fire lanes. So the existing fire lanes will be removed by this plat, and new ones dedicated by this plat to conform to the new proposed office warehouse buildings. So staff is recommending approval of the replat with the following condition. One, that there may be additional comments generated upon detailed engineering permit reviews. That's the end of my presentation.
Very good. Thanks, Mary. Any questions of staff by the commission? Okay. Does the applicant have any comments to the staff recommendation? Seeing none? Okay. This is a public hearing. Is there anybody who'd like to speak for or against the proposed application? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any final discussion by the commission, or is there a motion?
I'll make a motion for the approval of Seafried Edition Lot 1, Block A replat. With staff recommendations.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Guerra. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Blankenship. Cammie, would you call the roll, please?
Please respond by saying aye or nay as I call your name. Commissioner Blankenship.
Aye.
Commissioner Guerra.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Portman.
Aye.
Chairman Haas.
Aye.
Commissioner Maurer.
Aye.
Commissioner Walker.
Aye.
And Commissioner Bishop.
Aye.
All approved, none opposed, motion carries.
Very good. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming out. Item 8 on the agenda is update on council items. We reviewed that in pre-session with a briefing from Mary Prone Boswell. Item 9 is adjournment. With that, I'll adjourn the meeting. It is 6:59.